Hey guys, Techify, and today I've got a review of the Razer Viper Ultimate, one of Razer's most top tier wireless mice and a direct competitor to the Logitech G Pro Wireless. So guys, let's get into this. So jumping right into it, the Viper Ultimate is a pretty solid mouse all round. It is genuinely, as you'd expect, quite a high tier mouse. It is going to set you back about $90, which does make it cheaper than what I'd say is one of its main competitors from Logitech, the G Pro Wireless Superlight. That being said, it is a little bit behind the Superlight in some ways. So first of all, one of those big differences is the weight. Razer says this mouse weighs about 74 grams. Here on my scales we are getting about that, depending exactly how we adjust it, about 75 grams. Which is still very light, don't get me wrong, for a wireless mouse. It's really great to see, and a couple of years ago you'd never have seen that. That being said though, the G Pro Wireless Superlight does manage to be about 60 grams, and it does just feel that extra bit more agile and everything like that. If you prefer a little bit more weight, then certainly the Viper Ultimate is going to be the way to go. The shape of this mouse though, personally I do prefer a little bit to the G Pro Wireless Superlight. It's not quite as tall, and the rubber grips are quite nice, and it does have somewhere for your hands to go. That being said, I do have really small hands in general. Both of these mice are a little bit too big for me. The better shape for me would be the Viper Mini. Unfortunately, no, there is no wireless Viper Mini, and as you can see comparing these two mice, the Viper Mini is significantly smaller in terms of length and width, which is why it suits my claw grip more. In general though, the Viper Ultimate is very similar to the G Pro Wireless in the sense that it's pretty universal shape wise. If you're a palm user, you're probably going to be able to get something comfortable with it. If you're a claw user, it's going to be really nice. If you're like me, my hands are about, I believe, 17.5 centimeters by about 8 or 9 centimeters, so they're definitely on the smaller side, and for claw grip it is just that little bit too wide in my opinion. The length's not really an issue with where I hold it, the height isn't too bad, but it's just a bit too wide. I find myself needing to go to a 131 grip, which is just not as comfortable, and I don't aim as well with that. For fingertip, you're just going to need pretty big hands. It's quite a nice shape for it, but it is just a little bit big. If you're a fingertip user, something the size of the Viper Mini is going to be a better option. Everything else is pretty good. The feet are pretty good. I do have some of the glass Superglide feet to try soon from Pulsar, so I'm excited to try them on this mouse. But in general, the stock feet, they're really good. The sensor is pretty good as well. It does have a slightly higher lift-off distance than some other top-tier mice. Comes in about 5 playing cards with the way I measure it, but in general, that's not a problem, and it's a really great, accurate sensor, and overall, the mouse feels really good. The clicks don't feel amazing, but they do perform really well. They're Razer's optical switches. They do feel better than the ones on my Viper Mini. They're a bit more clicky. Here's a little sound test of them now. Overall, there's not much I can fault with anything like that. The build quality is brilliant. There's nothing, no creaks really, no clicking, nothing like that. So overall, the build quality is great. Obviously, you get a little bit of RGB, and one thing that I do think does make this mouse better than all the wireless mice I have, and I wish things even like my final mouse had this, is the charging dock. So the charging dock, you can put the dongle in there, so you're only using one USB port, and then you can simply put the mouse on and charge it like that. So even though the battery life on this mouse is pretty damn good anyway, the fact that I can do this means I've never once gone, oh no, my mouse has died while using this, because when you're not using it, you can just put it on that dock and charge it up, which is honestly probably my favorite feature of the mouse. And if you buy one of these, make sure you get it with the charging dock. I guess the final little thing to talk about is the scroll wheel and side buttons. The scroll wheel is like any other decent one, it's perfectly fine. Nothing really much to say about that. Same with the side buttons, they're plenty good enough for me, and they're in a pretty good place. Interestingly, you do get them on both sides, so if you're a left-handed user, then it's quite rare nowadays that you get a left-handed mouse or a mouse that actually caters for left hands. Most semi-ambidextrous mouse still only have side buttons on the left, so this is going to be really good if you're a left-handed user, and that could be a selling point for you. So what's my verdict on the Razer Viper Ultimate? Well, I think it is a really great wireless mouse, and I've really enjoyed using it. For me personally, like I said, it's a little bit too big, but that doesn't take away from the fact that I think it's a really good shape, and it's going to be great for a lot of different people and a lot of different grip styles. Unfortunately, I wish it was just about 15 grams lighter, then it could really compete with the likes of the Logitech G Pro Wireless Superlight. And I think for a lot of people, if you've got the budget, the G Pro Wireless Superlight is probably going to be the better mouse. If you'd like to see an in-depth comparison though, please let me know in the comments. And then If you do prefer that little bit more weight, then 100% the Razer Viper Ultimate is great. That charging dock, really cool feature, and I love that. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, then please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. For your next video, go check out my full review of the Logitech G Pro Wireless Superlight. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.